Hey everybody, I'm Mr. Todd. This is Stories and Solutions, and I have Andrew Racho here, voiceover artist, producer, writer, director, everything guy. Check it out.
What like between your writing, I've known you directed a lot of people,
Mhm.
and like Vivica Fox, and I
Oh,
saw.
I love Vivica. If I could ever work with her again, so I'll tell this story real quick. I was working on Explosion Jones, which was a cartoon over on El Rey, and Vivica Fox was cast in one of the roles for something. And man, like, I've directed a lot of people, but like when I walked in to like meet her, and she's like playing like a secret agent type, and uh, like I don't always know what I'm going to get with celebrities. I fully just am open because the one thing you'll realize you'll the one thing that's hard to deal with in terms of the celebrity stuff is you just don't know the other person. I try
Okay.
to go in an open book as much as possible because as much as you can learn from everybody else talking about stuff, doing other things, you don't really know them. And you don't know what day you're going to catch them on. So
Yeah.
I try to go in as much of a blank slate as I can and learn it in the moment so that way I can work. And if there's anything I really need to know, like go in beforehand. But I just try to be an open book. Like Vivica Fox, I could have gone in and then, you know, guessed a couple things, but I would have not expected who I would have met, which was she came in and she's playing secret agent. She's like doing kicks and punches and she's reading through her lines and she's doing all the prep work and all this stuff. And I ask her, I'm like, oh, have you done voiceover before? Because a lot of celebrities will be like, yeah, I did this thing. And then a lot of people might have just, said yes to their first take because they like them. So, I have to gauge how well I can work with them, whether there's somebody who's going to be like, you know, uh, they have the ability to command the room more than any other actor.
Got you.
Um,
Just with their voice.
just with their clout. So I'll give an
Oh,
example
I
of
see
that.
what you're
Like
saying.
as an actor, typically you go into a voiceover session. If you work an animated job, a lot of times they'll ask you for something like a three in a row. Um, so celebrities are the only ones I've ever heard say no to that
Mm,
because they'll say, "This is how I work," and then you
okay.
have to accept that, which is fine. It's not like being a diva or anything. It's just you have to accept people. You have to listen to them, accept how they work, and use that to bring the best out of them. Because if all you
Right.
do is try to fight them to say that your methodology is more right than theirs, then you're not communicating in the language that they need to learn to give their best performance.
Right.
Um, but the thing with Vivica is she's ready to play instantly. Walked in the room, she was so ready to go. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have so much fun." She's like goofing around. We had some behind the scenes being shot, and she's throwing kicks and punches to the camera. She's goofing around. She was such a blast to work with. Just had the best attitude of anyone I've ever worked with. So glad
Really.
to be there. So open to listening and collaborating. You know,
That's cool.
and I was just like, I want to work with her again some point. I will cast her. Next thing that I have, the big thing that I have the ability to, I want to cast her. She was just so nice of a person and just so willing of a collaborator, you know.
That's cool. Because I was like, I saw your, like I've done my research.
Okay.
but, but like, like Danny Trejo, like I've seen him before,
Yeah.
and he was a nice person. So I wasn't
Do you
thinking
want
like,
the dirt on Danny?
well, I was just like, did you have like, well, one, I was trying to find out like, do you prefer directing over writing or acting over, like that? Or, and then like, for example, uh, like Carl Weathers, I
Mhm,
know him from Rocky.
mhm.
So if I were in your place, I know I'd be like, hey, this was the guy. And like, how do you keep yourself from, I guess, fanning out,
Yeah.
to and then doing your job, and and um does that factor in? I know it's a lot of questions, but
Yeah.
like does it factor into your what you like to do more?
To a degree. I mean, I'm I take any creative job I can get. Like I'm still very much in a survival mode because I don't have the ability to command my acting roles. Like I
Okay.
can say yes and no and find opportunities that work in my favor. And anytime I haven't, I created my own, and that's always been where I get to have my creative jollies. But when it comes to working professionally, I can separate, where I'm going to be hired for money, and that's going to come from acting or directing. And I prefer acting because it's, you go in for a couple hours, it's like going to the emotional gym, you have a blast. I feel like I'm contributing more, and I get to do this stuff. With the directing, it's fun. I still get to do all that stuff, but there's that part of me that still, it's like, I want to run on the track. I don't want to just be the coach in a way. I'm good.
That's
I'm
cool.
good at doing the coaching stuff and directing and all that. But yeah. To also circle back, Danny and Carl are exceptionally nice people, as you might suspect. Danny's really cool. Uh, Very, very nice. I ended up seeing him at his taco place in Los Angeles a couple months later. My buddy went up to him and was like, he's like, I want to get a photo with him, and Danny took one with him. It was very nice about it. Like,
Really?
Danny's sweet. Like, Carl was very nice to work with. Like, it's with the celebrities, it's weird because sometimes you got to remember, like, when you've worked enough and you're at a point where they are, it's like you get sort of the game, which is that not everybody's seen what you're doing. Like when I've had the fortune when I was on Robot Chicken, I was shooting all their behind the scenes stuff. All that editing I learned to do in college, when all those late nights taught me how to make short form videos, which ultimately became DVD content, which what you'd usually see now as behind the scenes web content. I basically knew how to shoot tour videos before ever having to be professionally paid for them. So
Okay.
when it came time to do the DVD content, they gave they gave a camera to me and another PA, and they're like, you want to do this stuff? And she was just like, I guess I could. I was like, I know what I'm doing. I'd crash their late nights, staying up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, just like, I'm gonna make the best content. I don't care if I'm getting paid for it. I don't
Mm.
care. I'm gonna do my best. This is my
Yeah,
shot. I'm
it's in
taking
you.
it.
Yeah.
And one of the things, and I praise Matt and Seth to this day, they're very nice guys as well. And um, I had a couple good fortunes on Robot Chicken. One, it was a low budget production, so you in those you have the ability to things are less formalized. You have the ability to cut your teeth. I did
Okay.
it by doing all their scratch tracks and practicing on their scripts. I was terrible at most of it, but on a handful of it, I was
You're good.
I was really good. Like, I was better than some of the celebrities at times.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
which is where that's one part I stopped being afraid of celebrities when I was doing those, and I'd hear the performances come back from the celebrities and be like, oh no, I think my stuff was
I
better.
can. Yeah.
Like, and not just in an ego way. It's just I was honing my craft and I trusted it. At other times, I was utter trash and should never have been heard. I fully will own to that. I think it was probably a good 75-25% on that. Um, but one of the things I was also fortunate enough to do was they let me record the performances. So all these people who were like hot, in my years of knowing them, Seth, obviously meeting him was like an interesting thing because grew up watching him on all the stuff I loved, um, but getting to meet all the people that, like, throughout the years you've grown to love. I guess I grew sort of like, oh, it's just like another person. They just did something cool. And typically what happens is 5 minutes after that conversation wears off, you're just two people in a room, you
True.
know?
True.
Um,
And if they
and
if they click, right?
yeah, you just remember you're just people. Like, the people who'd come by, it's like, oh, that person's getting candy, and the same candy that I eat from, the little candy jar there. You know, uh, they're talking about their jobs and introducing life that way, or we're all just having small talk.
Yeah.
I remember I talking with Neil Patrick Harris about Guitar Hero, and I felt so weird because I was in the booth with him recording, and he's just like, he's like, oh, dude, you know, and I'm like, me being on film sets have that traumatized into me of like, don't talk to the talent, don't talk.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah,
worked
that's
on
how my
projects where
son.
it's like I had to sign, don't talk to the talent. Here I
Yes.
was fine, but like, that's just built into me. It's like, just make some small talk in case everybody's working, everybody's doing their jobs. Don't be the interfering pattern. Just, start making best friends with Neil Patrick Harris right now.
Right.
But
Right.
he's the type of person you kick it with. Like, he's done it enough, he's secured in his job, and he just like wants to get to know people. And when it comes time to do the work, he can turn it on. And when it comes time to turn the work off, he turns it off and is still a very kind human being. And you get that from a lot of the people working there. Some people walked in, they're more insecure than others, and that's fine. You know, this is a job that they haven't done because a lot of celebrities haven't done voiceover, but they're up for the roles anyway. Um, or maybe they're at different points in their career and this is coming back to it. This is new, this is weird, this is awkward. Maybe like they're still like every actor insecure, and you know, you got to kind of just acknowledge that. Like you get used to the recognize that everybody's, you know, normal, but there would be times where I would certainly fanboy out, like, you know,
So who can I ask, like one person where you're like, you felt like, you know, oh, I don't want to mess up what I'm doing, but you're still like in awe.
um I'm trying to I want to think of like a I've got two stories to it. I'm trying to think of the second one so the first one doesn't make me look as terrible. um uh you know, oof. I'll share a couple. One of them was I did one project with rest in peace Arlie Ermy, aka Gunny from Full Metal Jacket.
Okay.
One of the most iconic roles in television history. We got him to play his drill sergeant character as a waiter, which was
Mm,
hilarious. You know, he's serving food and just screaming at people and telling them to like give him their orders. It's, you know, super funny. But yeah, he's we got him, and you know, we were all a little bit nervous, but you know, I got to direct him and it was exciting. And you know, once I got him to kind of open up and warm up a little bit and just realize, no, we're going for it today, then he started giving it. Because I think a lot of people would be like, oh, we got Gunny, let's just hear his first take. I'm like, no, take 7 when I got you losing your mind. Oh yeah, now we're having fun. And then they're having fun too. So you know, certain times like that, like I geek out, but then we get to the work,
I
and
got
then
you.
the work will tell you everything about the people. No, much like you knew from class, where I could almost tell somebody's life history from their read. You know, like you get that when you start working with people, and then you figure out how to do that. There are times I've been nervous, like if I geek out, it's usually the rare occasions. Like I met Les Claypool at a Robot Chicken event. He's the
Oh,
musician,
Primus,
and oh yeah,
Primus.
I didn't
Yeah,
know who he
I've
was
seen
when I
him.
first saw him because like I only, you know, I listened to Tales from the Punch Bowl, but I wasn't staring at the pictures in there. I was looking at the cool 3D art in the CD, but not like I didn't have his, you know, image burned in my mind. So I met him and I did an interview with him, and then I was like, you're cool. Like I turned into a total geek. It was embarrassing. That happens occasionally, but when it comes to the work, it's sort of like a switch. You turn it off and then you turn it on.
Turn it on. I have to tell you, I saw Primus live. Like I'm like the '90s. I was
Yeah.
going to see like Fishbone, all of them, and yeah, man. When I saw the way how fast he would play, it was just like wow. And I'm more I just make music like however it comes to me, but
Yeah.
but that stuff is like unreal to me. That's like that's your soul, like going into what you're doing. He's not there. You know
Yeah.
what yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh man, he was so nice. He was so sweet. Did you watch the South Park the 25th maybe it was, they just did a concert recently that they put out where it was like they had everybody, they did a whole retrospective of their best songs and stuff.
No.
Primus was there, Matt Stone and Trey were performing on stage. It was if you get a chance to South Park Studios on their YouTube, they have it. Primus does
20,
a thing.
25th anniversary.
I think it's for their 25th anniversary, but they just did a big show. I
Okay,
just think just to do a
I'll
big
check it out.
show. They did a song version of um uh, I can't remember. I forget the name of the song, but Butters was the lead singer instead of Les in it. So,
Okay,
um, uh,
so but this was like because I trying to picture what it is. Is it like the actual musicians and then they're performing, or is there like people in place of?
so imagine like, you know, you check out like a Springsteen concert and you got like a stage full of like dozens of people. One corner there's Primus, another section there's Ween. Matt and Trey are playing piano, playing guitar, going
Oh,
back and
okay,
forth on their microphones. So they're all running around doing parts from the you
different.
know, So Primus is doing like the theme song and a couple other random things. Ween is doing some stuff. At one point, Rush shows up.
Wow.
Like yeah, and then it's mostly them doing the songs that they're known for from the show, like Kyle's mom and
Yes.
San Diego and the Kanye song and
I know Kyle's mom for sure.
yeah. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah,
So yeah, so you're like I'm gonna be skipping around here because
no worries.
yeah, I does it like ever feel like the dream like a dream to be where you are? I know you have
No,
the no. So because of survival mode.
I think it's because you never stop wanting. You have to
The
stop and
carrot.
reflect and remember that you're in the dream. Like when you've had the opportunities you've had and you get to do the things, like to stop and reflect is when you remember, oh yeah, I'm in this. But you know, you're as a human being, as an individual, it doesn't matter what part of the computer program you're in. Like you can be in one section, then you're in this section, then you're in this section. It's
You're
like you're
still
still in
in
the
it.
computer program. You just have to be aware of it. It's just the things that you're surrounded by are kind of cool. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Well, yeah, because you have that. You're different though. I think you're different, which is what made me actually ask you.